Hello, this is Sean
Hello.
and Joe, and this
Hello.
is. I'm not going to say Fear and Loathing this time. In the, so I said Fear and Loathing in one of the episodes. I think it was the one for, uh, fuck the. It wasn't the souvenir. It was Teen. No. It was My Bloody Valentine. It's My
Mm.
Bloody Valentine. I said it's the Fear and Loathing podcast. It's the Fear and Loathing podcast, and this episode is sponsored by fans of Train. We know you're out there, but we've never met any of you. Fans of Train, we know you're there because they're selling a dickload of records, but I've never met a single fan of Train in my entire life.
You
Who's
know
going
what?
to the Who's going to
Me
their
either.
shows? Yeah, who's
I,
going to their shows? Who's buying their albums? Who's I don't think they have merch.
I really don't think. Oh my.
Never seen a Train shirt in public. Uh, I don't even
And
think.
we're
Go ahead.
talking about the band Train, not
Yeah.
trains.
Yeah.
Those have fans. I see them.
I've seen people be like, "Yeah, I like public transit." Yeah, we see that all the time, but we've never met somebody who's been like, "You know what I really like? Train. They're like the best band ever." Nobody says that. Nobody has
Drop the
ever.
Jupiter changed my life.
That's funny because it's like that's the only song I ever hear people talk about by them, or I mean, begrudgingly they'll maybe throw in a "Hey Soul Sister," but I will, but but they
I
don't go.
forgot that was them.
But they don't go, "I like Hey Soul Sister." They go, "What the fuck is this?" Because that's the appropriate response. It's Drops of Jupiter is also like, "Hey, what the fuck is this?" But it's at least tolerable.
I think it's
Whereas,
only because it was made in the early 2000s. But
yeah,
Hey Soul Sister is. Was that made in the early 2000s?
I
I have no idea.
I think it was like late 2000s, coming up on like the 2010s, maybe even actually very beginning of the 2010s, because I remember
Mm.
hearing it in like a CVS, and I was like, "This is the most disgusting thing I've ever heard in my entire life."
It's always
Um,
CVS's. I was in Lowe's today and I forgot that they constantly play country music. Terrible.
I like it whenever they play like. I swear, in every Walgreens I've ever been in, I think I've heard Wonderwall being played, and I mean that's that like an egregious amount of Wonderwall, and I don't even hate that song. Like I like Oasis, I like the album that song is on, um, but fuck, I've heard that song way more than I think I've ever heard anything inside of a Walgreens. And then there's like Natalie and Bruglia's Torn. That's another one that's like a big deal in like a CVS or a Walgreens. It's like,
They only play 90s alt music, it sounds like.
yeah. We worked at a Hobby Lobby. No, it was Big Lots. We worked at a Big
Yeah.
Lots together, and they had the same
Oh my god.
radio station or playlist that played every day. And I swear I heard the same songs every day. It was either "I saw the sign," "He opened up my eyes, I saw the sign."
Dude, I would work like 6 hours and I would hear so I'd get in there and it would start on like let's say I saw the sign. And then around like 5:30, I saw the sign would play again. So I know that they went through their whole playlist and it's just recycling.
I remember like "Ain't It Fun" by Paramore and "The Only Exception" by Paramore were both on there, and I was like,
Oh yeah.
it personally like two songs that I skip if I'm listening to Paramore. Like I am a fan of the band, but like it's just those two songs are like skippable to me just because they were played out so much. Um, and
Yeah.
they're not as fun and energetic to me as like the rest of their catalog, which I think is something that they have going for them, and they've always had going for them is that they've always just been like really energetic and fun. But those two songs that they're so skippable. But like that fucking Ace of Base song, and then Benny and the Jets, and then Like,
See,
uh,
Benny and the Jets almost never played. Benny and the Jets is like a, it's like a, it's almost like a treasure because like, I love Elton John,
yeah,
but like the only Elton John song they would play is "Don't Go Breaking My Heart,"
yeah,
and that would
okay,
play all the time. And then every once in a while, Benny and the Jets would play. Same with Walmart. Every once in a while, it would play. I'm like, oh shit, and it'd get me excited, even though I've heard
yeah.
that song a million times.
Oh yeah, it's like it's a good one for Melton.
Oh, for sure.
He doesn't have a lot of misses.
No, I mean
Yeah,
when you get into his newer stuff, I think maybe
yeah,
it
that's
kind
fair.
of.
But he
Yeah.
but he doesn't have a lot of misses in
Nah.
his early and mid career. But his later career, yeah, maybe.
And
Um,
once he stopped doing that cocaine, he kind of just fell.
I thought you were gonna say that once he started doing the grass, which
The grass.
interestingly enough, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about grass today.
Tall grass.
Tall grass. We're talking about tall grass today. We watched In the Tall Grass, which I think is a novella by Stephen King, or maybe it's like a full novel. I'm not sure. I don't follow him. I know
I
this is
I could see it being Stephen King. I didn't know if it actually was though.
yeah. I think it was written by Stephen King because based on the novel. Was it a novel or novella? Novella. It was a novella.
What's the difference
Um,
between a novel and a novella?
One is smaller.
Ah,
I think it's word count. Um,
kind of like short story versus like a story.
right, but it's longer than a short story.
Okay.
And then like significantly, uh, I can't remember the word. I used to know these things because I was more. I used to write more than I do. I don't write at all now, and I still have the ability. It's just I don't do it.
I feel you. I don't write as much as I used to.
Yeah, and I've seen things you've written before, and you've read stuff I've written. Like, I I think we used to try to bounce off of each other, and like it was fun. Uh, but yeah, I haven't written anything in like maybe 2 years, and maybe I could start again. Who knows? Not
We
really
might
feeling
still
it.
write again and bounce off each other, but it's also one of those things we can't force because if we start forcing ourselves to write, it's not going to be good.
Yeah, and I feel like doing this podcast is I think it's taking precedence over writing because I don't know, I feel like this is a lot more fun than going, what the fuck am I doing? What the fuck am I doing with this character? And like then you like sit there and research shit for like 90 hours a day, and then you're like, well, I still know what the fuck I'm doing with the story, so I'm gonna give up. Maybe take a bath with a toaster. Who knows?
You gotta wait like a week, and then like out of nowhere you'll get a revelation, like, oh shit, that's what I can do. And then you write it, and you're like, well, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Now I gotta wait another week.
uh, so
That's why it takes people years to write books.
that's yeah. Sometimes people just crank that shit out. I don't
Dude,
understand that. Like,
so the guy who wrote On the Road, I can't remember his name. He also made Dharma Bums. He wrote On the Road in a weekend on one sheet of paper connected to his typewriter. It
fuck
was just
that.
like really long, almost looked like paper towels, just connected to his. He just flushed it all out. It's nuts.
Fuck that. Uh,
Yeah, exactly.
oh man, I think this is our we've done some rambling here. I think we dive into the main event here, and
Walk to the tall grass.
yeah, well, we probably shouldn't. I feel
Yeah,
like
no, no.
I feel like I've walked through like cornfields and been like, ah, this is fine, but it also sucks because you also get those like corn rashes. Uh,
Oh, yeah. Not to mention spiders and snakes.
yeah, fuck that. But it's interesting. Like they're going to where were they going to? Fucking like Indiana or something. Like it was something.
San Diego. I think they're
San.
coming from Indiana.
Ah, okay. Yeah, they're driving to San Diego from the Midwest, not located in Maine. What the fuck, Stephen King? That's I thought that was your bread and butter, my dude. That you write exclusively stories that take place in Maine.
And he moved to the West Coast, and all he can write about is the West Coast now.
Yeah,
It's
he's
like,
like
fuck Maine. This is amazing.
he's like, they're gonna come from Indiana, a place I've probably never been, to to yeah, they're gonna come to San Diego.
On
And
Diago.
so the one of the characters is pregnant. We see a weird shot of her, like her belly, and then there's like grass.
Oh, yeah, that
Yeah,
was so weird.
I thought she was pregnant with grass. It's like it's actually just a it's just a little hedge growing inside of her, and then
He
like
gave birth to moss? What the hell is this?
it's all sopping wet. It's gross.
Ew. This thing off of me.
So her brother's driving. We don't know that they're siblings yet because like they kind of give off like they're fucking vibes. But
Yeah.
once we find out that they're siblings, they're still giving off like they're fucking vibes. So it's just like
Cal, man. Cal is the brother, and he is so weird. Like, he's one of those brothers that are too protective of his sister.
yeah,
Like, there's protective of your siblings, and that's fine. But he's like Sean was saying, get him off I want to fuck you vibes.
yeah. It's I don't know. It's I don't even know what the right word for it is because it's just like, dude.
It's just fucking nasty.
It's just
You just get this weird feeling from Cal the whole time.
yeah, and it kind of gets brought to light whenever the what's his face? His name was Ross, I think, which is the man who got the girl pregnant. Can't remember her name.
No, Travis is the one. Who gets the girl pregnant.
Travis. Who's
Ross
Ross?
is Tobin's father.
Oh,
Little old
motherfucking
granny.
yeah, Tobin's a fucking grandma. He's a little child who has like grandma face like a motherfucker. Like it's
Bad.
I have never seen that level of grandma face on anyone, not even an old person. Like I don't know how he looks like this as a child, but stop it.
He's like a 9-year-old with a fucking 60-year-old's face.
I'm surprised he's not wearing Toms, and like he's in the tall grass, but he's like, "Is it 6:30 yet? I haven't had my dinner."
When's MASH coming on?
Grandma, we don't have cable. We don't have TV land. Well, put it on the picture. I don't know what the fuck old people say. It's like
Yeah,
I need to
we'll
watch.
get there eventually.
I need to watch my stories. Like, it's like
One
all my
time
children.
me and Hubert walked through the grass once. It was never this tall, but it did hurt like a son of a bitch all the same.
All right, shut up, Grandma. Nobody cares.
I'm just a 10-year-old boy. That's very nice, Grandma.
So they're in this car. They're in this car, and they're having a really weird conversation. I mean, I guess it's not weird; it's just a normal conversation, but it just sounds forced. I feel like the acting in this is really like stilted. It just it doesn't get good for a while. I mean, okay, the cold open's kind of cool because they kind of go into the grass. It's kind of like a little like mini movie right before all the really interesting shit starts. So they're driving, and I forgot what gets them to stop. They're driving to San Diego, and then they stop for some reason. I can't remember what got them to stop. Oh, it's because what's her face had to take a piss or something, right? Like she. So she was like,
remember.
I think she's like, I'm about to blow or something like that, and then I mean, she's very pregnant. It wasn't.
There you go.
It's not because she's about to drop that kid, but it's she's gotta go.
Yeah, her
Um,
water's gonna break in a different way.
yeah. Uh, but yeah, she's
Yeah, I
like
don't remember why they stopped. Like, cause they go into the grass because they hear somebody like screaming for help, but I don't remember
yeah,
why they
and
stopped.
that's Tobin who's like yelling like I need help, help me. And then we were making jokes like it's like fuck you kid like
Get the fuck out of here.
it's like just yell back shut the fuck up.
You know, me and Sean were talking. This whole movie could have been dealt with immediately with just one or two lawnmowers, just going at it.
I mean, we say that, but then we like kept watching, and like the grass is like it has like
Uh,
regenerative properties, and it can like untie itself because Travis like tied a knot so he didn't get lost, and then
oh yeah.
it started to like unravel itself, and we were like, well.
So what about like one flamethrower or a few Molotovs? So
Ah,
they never checked fire.
yeah, I don't think they
Let's
ever.
see it untie itself from fire.
I, I didn't think about that. Like, if they had just set it on fire.
Don't worry, kid. We'll save you. You just slip away.
He comes out looking like like a crispy grandma. Wow, grandma, what I don't even know how to say this. It's like what burnt skin you have. You look like a burn victim. I am a burn victim.
Wow, Grandma, what singed hair you have.
You are very charred.
She comes out looking like a raisin.
Oh my god. So, of course, they hear this kid screaming and they're like, what's a kid doing in the tall grass? And then they're like, all right, well, we're going to come get you. And then they're like, stay put. We're going to come get you. And then they get lost in the grass. They don't even find the kid. And then they lose each other. Cal and. What the fuck was her name?
Becky.
Becky, yes. And so her name is Becky, and they get lost, and then they decide she's very pregnant. Again, I repeat, very pregnant. And they get to the point where she starts saying like really dirty, like there was once a guy from Nantucket. She says like that kind of shit just to try to get her brother to find her, and she's yelling this stuff really loud. And then they're like, let's both jump up at the same time and we can see each other and see where we're at. Not a bad idea, except she's very fucking pregnant. Um, but she's like, no, I can do it. So they do it twice. On the first one, they see each other. They're like, all right, cool, we got this. Let's do it one more time just to make sure. They jump in the air, and then when she comes down, she hears a noise, or maybe we hear the noise. I don't know if she does. I'm assuming so, but something just happened to Cal, and then that's when the cold open ends because something just happened. But we're gonna find out that that doesn't really hold a whole lot of weight in this movie because things are not final. Um,
Yeah, this movie's got a lot of weird twists and turns in it.
yeah, like
We thought it was going to be a really bad movie going in, and at the end of it, we enjoyed pretty much all of it except for like the beginning, really. But
I think there's a part of it where I kind of like nodded off and like but I had like just gotten off of work and I was like, all right, let's just watch this movie.
Sean, you're supposed to back me up.
Not that the movie was boring. It was just like I was watching it intently and I was trying to like focus on it. And then there's parts of this movie that are completely blank to me. I remember some parts. I should have probably went back and watched the parts that I did kind of miss, but I'm sure you'll fill in the blanks. But
Yeah, I got you. I got the
Yeah,
synopsis pulled up just in case.
yeah. So I've got my notes here. Um, yeah. So I after the cold open, we are introduced to, or yeah. So did Tobin show up in the cold open? No, 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 no. Because I think
Yeah, he stumbles upon Cal, or Cal stumbles upon Tobin, whichever.
yeah, and then they
And
find the dog that so it's Tobin's dog, and uh, Tobin's dog is dead in this timeline. It's weird.
yeah,
This movie has multiple timelines, so it's like, and it's all because of some weird ass rock that's in the middle of the tall grass or somewhere in the tall grass. I don't know if it's the middle, but apparently it's like the middle of the fucking world or something is what Patrick Wilson says in this movie. Yeah, by the way, Patrick Wilson is in this movie. He is Cal, not honestly, he's Cal's dad. He's the grandma's dad. Um,
oh man,
my name is Tobin. Shut up, Grandma.
hey, yeah, Grandma, you're a little child, a little boy.
I'm just a wee little boy. I don't know
All right,
I don't know better. Grandma, you're 75 years old. Shut the fuck up.
I've been talking for 75 years. I'm not gonna stop now.
Yeah,
Okay,
non-stop, Grandma. Non-stop.
just keep going. Dig yourself a deeper hole.
It never ends with you, Grandma. Oh, you were a little boy once in tall grass. You had when did you have my mom then? Hmm?
Eh, and then,
Exactly. You don't know what you're talking about.
and then just cuts to the lady from the Titanic, and it's really that's what Tobin really is.
Oh.
He's going on and on about the tall grass. Like, back to the Titanic. Come on, let's go.
That might be a movie that we have to cover at some point. And that movie's
Titanic?
that movie's like 5 hours long.
Ooh. We'll get the director's cut or something. 7 hours long.
Oh fuck. Oh man, I don't know if I have it in me. I mean, I'll do it, but
If we have to.
yeah.
I was watching something, and did you watch the Batman movie with?
I did with Robert Pattinson.
Apparently the director's cut. So that movie was like 2.5 hours long, something like that. The director's cut was like 5 hours long.
Fuck. Like,
And the screening where they showed before they did all the editing, it was like 5 hours that they had to sit there and watch the movie.
my God. Man, I hate that movies are now being extended to like 3 hours at minimum now, which is like, I mean, you'll still get shorter ones like hour and a half, 2 hours, but like minimum it's like 2.5, 2:45, and then sometimes up to like 3-4 hours.
Ugh.
I watched The Irishman. While it's a great movie, it's like 4 or 5 hours long. It's like I had to watch that shit in parts because it was just it. Like while it never felt boring because Martin Scorsese is just like a fucking genius, but it's just
Yeah.
oh my God. And they got Joe Pesci out of retirement, and that's holy fuck. Like
Joe Pesci's the man.
hey, Joe Pesci is the man, and then Robert De Niro is great in it, of course.
Wait,
like,
when did The Irishman come out? I thought that was like a 80s movie.
I think it was like 2018 or 19,
Damn.
or maybe 2020. It was like either right before COVID or like during. I mean, we're still during, but like
Yeah.
like the height of like COVID breaking out, and it was just like we were actually in lockdown, and like it was. I think it was right around there.
Okay. So Martin Scorsese technically came out of retirement too, because I don't think he's made a movie in years.
Yeah, I don't think he came out of retirement, but I think he just like he kind of was just like, Yeah, let's make a really fucking long one.
Like,
And
why the fuck not?
he probably worked on that for a long time. And I mean, I get it. Like it's great. It's so good. I don't think Scorsese's ever made like a horrible movie. So hopefully we start getting some of his movies soon because I would love to talk about like The Departed or fuck The Irishman, I guess.
Oh, The Departed is really good.
Or we could watch Gangs in New York, which is also another great one.
That's a really good one too.
Yeah,
I'm I'm gonna watch relatively soon. See, a movie I hope we get is Blade Runner 2049.
oh yeah, that's
I
yeah,
loved that movie. I
yeah.
was gonna watch it again, but it's it's a really long movie.
Yeah. Like I'm saying, like they are going out of their way. Like directors are going out of their way to make the longest movies possible. And
Well, I mean, like you can get more out of a longer movie. You can put more in there, but a lot of people also they pad time, which is a
yeah,
bad thing. Like
yeah.
it's a
Have you
good
ever
thing if they
watched?
do it right.
You ever watched Ready Player One? That's all that fucking movie is references and padded time. That movie sucks. Like I know. So I saw it in theaters with Cody, one of our friends. So collectively, we watched that, and like we walked out of it, and he was like, "Oh my god, that was a great movie." And I was like, "Was it?" And he was like, "Yeah, dude, did you see all the cool stuff in it?" I was like, "Does that make it a good movie though?" And it was just,
No, it doesn't.
and then he was like, I was like, and I told him like on the surface, it's just like a really bad romance movie where like the main character he meets a girl in the video game world and she's like, "Oh, you wouldn't like me if you saw me in real life," and then she's just the girl from Bates Motel, and it's
And
like,
she's got like this. She's like, you won't love me, and she's got this little tiny,
yeah,
like
oh,
barely even noticeable scar or
oh
something on
man,
her
I have
face.
a birthmark on my face, but I'm Olivia Cook and I'm really hot. Like, yeah, what the fuck? Like, yeah, I wouldn't like you in real life. I actually kind of like you a lot more than I did in the video game because in the video game you look like an elf, and I'm not into that shit.
Yeah, I like the idea of Ready Player One, but it's kind of boring. Um,
I feel like
because like it's very you know what's gonna happen. Like it's
yeah,
very predictable.
the idea
Um,
is cool,
yeah,
and then the execution was just god awful. And then God, what a, they neutered my boy Simon Pegg.
yeah, I forgot he's in that.
Yeah, because they neutered him. He's
He would have
very
done so much better as like if he was. I feel like he would have done a better job as the guy who. So the guy who created the game, that awkward dude.
yeah,
I feel like Simon Pegg would have done a better job because that guy wasn't very charismatic, and Simon Pegg is super charismatic.
yeah,
Everyone loves Simon Pegg.
yeah. Put him with the right directors too, and it's perfect. Like him and Edgar Wright, mwah. Like
Oh yeah,
yeah. So we're kind of getting off on a tangent. If we get like an Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg movie, or fuck, if we get Ready Player One ever, we'll go more on. We'll build on that if once we get there,
yeah.
because I feel like we have a lot to say about Ready Player One, and we should probably just get Ready Player One if we're going to talk about it like that. But all right, so back to In the Tall Grass. I think one of my favorite parts of this movie is like they didn't really try to like there wasn't any like cheapness to the horror elements of this movie. I didn't think that they felt the need to jump scare every corner and you can see things coming. Like there are moments where like Patrick Wilson is basically the antagonist of this movie, and he'll kind of pop up out of the grass out of nowhere and just beat the shit out of somebody, and you do,
Yeah,
but it doesn't feel forced. It's like he'll just like pop out and like bam, like, and some of the funniest things to me in movies is where like you'll see somebody throw a punch off screen and it connects like you didn't see it coming, and it's just fucking hilarious to me. Or like, and that happens quite a bit in this movie. So like, So it's like it's always like Patrick Wilson is like, well, bam. By the way,
Thought
I'm
you were
here.
dead.
There's a lot of that, but there's also really cool elements where like even in like the cold open where like you first meet Tobin and he's talking to Cal and he's like, "No, I found my dog because the grass doesn't move dead things." And it's like ominous and it's like, "Oh, okay." And then he gives you like a he hits you really hard with like oh, and your sister's going to die really soon. And you're like, "What the fuck?" Like
But yeah, the grass doesn't move dead things. Also, your sister's gonna die.
yeah, it's like, I saw that shit coming. Your sister's gonna kick the bucket soon, and that baby, maybe yours, maybe somebody else's. Who knows? I know she's your sister, but you tap that,
You get at that, Cal?
Cal, you hit that shit?
Oh, he wishes.
No, he does. He does.
He definitely does.
We figure that out when Travis comes into play, who's actually the father of the child.
Yeah.
But in this specific timeline, this first timeline, Becky does die, right? Yeah. So Becky does die in this timeline, and then Tobin is like trying to keep up, or he's trying to keep up with or Cal's trying to keep up with Tobin. That's what it is, because Tobin's running through the grass, or is it the other way around?
Well, Tobin runs a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think at this point in time, like Tobin's running because Cal's trying to get more information out of him. So Tobin's running away,
Yeah. He takes him
and
to the rock.
yeah, and then they run into this big ass boulder, uh, and like Tobin's like, you gotta touch it to know the truth or whatever the fuck, and that's like a general theme in this movie is that Patrick Wilson and Tobin, who are father and son, um, well, I mean, this is like
Father and grandma.
a father and grandma. And then, so Tobin starts to creep you out first, and he starts touching this rock, and he's like, "You gotta touch the rock." And then he's like, "This is what the rock told me that your sister was gonna die," basically. So you're like, "What the fuck is happening right now?" And then I think we hear Becky scream.
Yeah.
So that's like the start of that. So
She's
Cal's,
like attacked by like you see like this shadowy figure move through the grass and attack her,
yeah,
and then it like cuts.
which honestly I think it might have been Patrick Wilson. We just don't see it. Uh,
Yeah.
because he ends up being like, I feel like in the timelines Tobin was helping his dad, because throughout the movie you start going like, all right, the main theme that we have is that whoever is the bad guy or the bad grandma or
Mm.
whatever, it has to do with this rock and they have touched it. And they're trying to get other people to touch it as well. And if they refuse to touch it, they start,
Throwing a temper tantrum.
to say the least. Yeah, they're like, "Why aren't you touching this cool ass rock?
Please.
Pretty please, can you touch this rock?" And then, well, now I kind of want stir fry. Uh, can you touch this? Can you touch this wok?
Oh. Oh.
I
Okay.
was hoping it would click for you.
Confused the shit out of me. I was like, what? Where the fuck did stir fry come from?
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. I probably wouldn't have got it if you didn't explain it to me. I would have just been confused.
But then, yeah. So that's like a general theme. So in this timeline, Tobin's like, "Cal, you should touch this rock." But also, it told me your sister's gonna die. Then we hear Becky scream, and Cal's like, "Becky, Becky!" Then he goes and runs after her because he's in love with her. I mean, it's also his sister, so I guess that's fine. It's like I get it if like if it's your sister who's like dying, like yeah, absolutely chase and try to figure out what's going on. But he had an obsession with her.
He definitely did a very creepy. Like you get it from the beginning. That's why whatever they're like, um, whenever Tobin's like, "That's your sister, right?" It confused me. I was like, I thought they were married. I thought by the way Cal was acting, I thought they were a thing,
Yeah,
but no, they're just siblings.
yeah, creepy as shit. I think that this is a very weird horror movie, but the creepiest aspect is how much Cal wants to bone his sister.
Yeah,
So it starts like kind of cutting around where we start to see at one point before Becky dies, we see her hanging out with Ross, who is Cal's father, and they're looking for the mother of the child, not the grandma. So they're like, but I mean, there's so many time jumps because like once we see Becky has died, then we cut to a time lapse or a time where Becky is still alive and she's hanging out with Ross, and they're trying to find the mother. I think in this one the dog is still dead, but Becky has not died yet. And then, um, yeah, it jumps around a lot, kind of like we do.
yeah.
So I feel like this is like the perfect movie for us to talk about because now, but maybe it isn't. Maybe it just makes us more confused.
Because usually we are pretty like confused jumping around, but this one is like intentionally confusing.
Yeah.
So it's just yeah, racking our brains.
Yeah, so it's like,
So I know that so after she gets attacked, I think it shows that's when Travis comes in.
right. But we do see Becky and Ross talking um, because Becky is like looking for Cal, and she runs into, yeah, so Ross runs into Becky, and then. Uh, hmm. Oh yeah, and what's his face? Ross is like, all right, we're gonna go look for your brother, but you gotta follow me, and you can't lose sight of me. And then she does, uh,
Very
pretty,
quickly.
yeah, very quickly, like pretty much immediately. She's like, "Where'd you go?" And he's like, "What? I just fucking told you." Like, and then this is when she dies. Yeah, and then that's when Tobin and Cal are at the Rock, and then there's a bunch of really cool looking carvings in it. I'm assuming, and they start lighting up later in the movie, which is like, I mean, it's kind of like a jack o' lantern kind of. Um, but Becky gets attacked, and Cal starts running toward the sound of her scream, and then that's when the cold open ends. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we start seeing Travis. Like it feels like a different movie, but we know it's not. So and then Travis is like he's driving to look for them, and
Because it had been like 2 months since they left.
yeah. So yeah, so he's like driving around. He stumbles upon the car, and it's right by this church. So he's like, "Are they in the church?" Question mark. And then he doesn't he start hearing screams as well from Tobin. Like he's like, Tobin's like, "Help, help!" And then,
No, he goes outside the church, and he just looks at the grass. He's like, "Well, probably in there," and just goes.
yeah.
I mean, they've got to be in there.
He's like, why?
He took no convincing. He's just like, okay.
If I see a car on the side of the road and I see a church, all right, yeah, I check the church first. But after that, like, okay, maybe they're holed up. Maybe they're holed up in the church for some fucking reason. Maybe they like gave birth in the church and they're being raised by like nuns and shit, or the baby's being raised by nuns. I would not think, yeah, they went into the grass to never be seen again. I'd be like, hey, maybe the worst has happened and somebody like kidnapped them or something. Like, yeah, an empty car is probably a tragedy if it's stuck on the side of the road. I'm not going into fucking tall grass to look for my missing pregnant lady and her
No.
obsessed brother in tall grass. He just walks in there like, that's where they are. He's right. He's right. But I'm not thinking that.
No. No, fuck that. I'm like it's like immediately he's just like he looks in the church, he comes out, he's like, yep. Gotta be the only other thing is the tall grass. I would immediately think like they were probably picked up, they probably got stranded, so they got like a ride or something, or they hitchhiked or something, I guess, or they were kidnapped. And then I'd get in my car, I'd call the cops, and I'd go to San Diego or something. I'd go try to go where I think that they would have been taken, like the route they would have been taken. Not go immediately into the tall grass.
Yeah. Uh, in my notes, I wrote that so Tobin scares the new guy by like, jumping out at him, and then he tells him his name is Shh. What is that?
He's like, it's like, what's your name? He's like, shh.
That's such a weird name.
Weird ass name.
What's your name? Shh.
That's fucking weird. But okay, shh.
And then people are like, Tobin. He's like, no, that kid's name is Shh.
What? How rude. I'm not gonna be quiet. No, that's his name. Is shh.
He's like, yeah, my name's Travis. What's your name? Shh.
Like, oh. Okay.
I think he was shushing him because he heard something. But it's just funny that happened. He's like, hey, little grandma, what's your name? And then she's like, or he's like, shh.
I'm trying to watch my soaps.
And then I'm trying to watch my stories. Tobin's like talking to him about the field not moving dead shit for like a while, and then he shows Travis Becky's body, and I wrote in my notes, Becky did.
Becky did. DED did.
But it's not even just like dead. She looks like she's been deteriorating for a while. Like almost like she's already been dead for like 2 months. And then we start getting some time travel shit going on. I wrote in my notes, what in the time traveling fuck?
So he follows Tobin again. And Tobin does what Tobin does and just fucking sprints while someone's trying to follow him. Like trying his hardest to lose the person who's following him. And then he loses Tobin. I think he falls asleep. And then that's whenever Tobin's family, this is when the time travel shit happens. That's when Tobin's family shows up at the church, and then they get lured in by Travis.
Right, okay. There's just a lot of like looping like this where it's like so now Travis is calling for help in the tall grass like Joe was saying, and then Tobin and his parents are pulling up to the church and they're like, what is that? And then
their dog runs in there.
Yeah, so we're starting to see like, so it's looping, but we're also seeing how everybody got there, which is very strange, and it's like it's something to think about, but it's like, all right, so Tobin and the dog go in, because the dog just like sprints into the tall grass, and then Tobin's like, he's like, I want to go get my dog, and then he just like runs in there too, and then the parents are like, no, what the hell? So they have to. That now they're forced to go in to look for the dog, or not
You
dog,
know,
but for the grandma. Because they don't, I don't think they care about the dog nearly as much as Tobin, which it's sad, but like I get it. Um,
yeah, like the dog's gonna eventually come back out. They've got better. They're better at getting their way out of things than we are, except for like getting their head stuck in something.
yeah,
But during all of this, Ross is probably the only. He's a douchebag, you can tell, but he's probably got the only one in this part, which is funny seeing how later on he becomes the antagonist. Is the only clear-headed one in this part because he's like telling them not to go into the grass,
yeah.
and then they keep going to the grass. He's like,
He's the only one that's like, I don't think that's a good idea. Like the
yeah,
only fucking one. Like the mom is like, I need to go get my boy, even though we have established that grandma. Um, but like Patrick Wilson's like, no, which is honestly like pretty good writing because once Patrick Wilson is in the grass, he kind of just like descends into madness. Like he's a
yeah.
like I think that's really cool that they did that. But like, I mean, is that predictable? That I don't think so. I didn't really see it coming. I thought
Like
I
they
thought
didn't even show like the person who attacked Becky was just a shadowy figure,
right.
and like so you don't know who attacked her. So I would say, yeah, that's pretty decent writing.
Yeah.
It doesn't come off as like predictable.
I thought what we were gonna get was just like Tobin being a fucking weirdo. Like he was gonna be like the antagonist, like most horror movies do with children. Not most horror movies. I feel like we had like a genre in and of itself, like a subgenre of horror where it's like creepy child horror, um, like
I mean,
Sinister. Well, I mean, Sinister. The kids weren't really the antagonist. It was Bagul.
Magoo.
Bagul. And then he basically just murdered families and took their children. It's pretty fucked.
Well, the kids murdered the families.
Oh yeah, but it was at the behest of Bagul, who was like possessing them. But yeah, I mean, it was still like a creepy kid movie, I guess. Like kids are the creepy ones. I'm gonna run over a motherfucker with a lawnmower. Okay, I'm also calling bullshit on some of those because like a child is not going to be using a pulley system to hang like four motherfuckers. Like
Yeah.
that ain't happening. But I did enjoy Sinister. Again, this is a movie that we'll probably end up getting, and I want to talk more about that when we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But
Yeah, we're pretty bad about talking about other movies. We're supposed to be talking about one movie.
hey, we're gonna keep you guys on your toes. Don't worry about it.
When will they ever get to the movie?
It's like they talked about In the Tall Grass for 30 minutes, and then they just talked about Walk Hard again for like.
Talked about Walk Hard for 45 minutes. He talked about Ready Player One for another 20 minutes.
And now they're talking about Sinister. What are you gonna talk about In the Tall Grass?
It's just like In the Tall Grass is our like commercial. Like we're talking about all these other movies, and then In the Tall Grass is the little commercial, and then we start talking about other movies.
And it's the title of the episode. It's like why is this why is this even titled In the Tall Grass if they're never gonna talk about In the Tall Grass?
This is Sean and Joe talk about Ready Player One and Sinister featuring In the Tall Grass.
It's like Nelly and fucking was it Billy Ray Cyrus? Is that who it was?
Oh, it was
Tim McGraw.
Yeah, Tim McGraw.
Tim McGraw. Why did I say Billy Ray Cyrus?
They're all the same.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't break my heart,
My achy breaky heart. I just don't think you understand.
Understand.
The only time I've ever like heard that song was in South Park.
Me too. I was just thinking about that.
Yeah.
Whatever. Not Stan. Randy's dancing to it.
It's like
He's
you've
hit him
been
with one of
served. It's the you've been served episode.
Yeah.
And he
He's
starts,
been served here, and we saw a lot of He got served mainly in the groin area.
And he's like, you gotta give him one of these. And he turns to don't break my
Break
heart.
my heart.
My
My
achy,
achy, breaky
breaky heart.
heart.
And then Stan starts doing it. It's fucking great.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, back to In the Tall Grass. I'm talking about South Park now.
I hope this is endearing to other people because, like, we're just gonna get sidetracked in every episode.
We both have ADHD. It's very hard for us to stick to one thing.
That's that's why none of our creative projects ever get finished except for like episodes of this podcast.
Yeah, because we gotta like work together to keep each other on track. We're really bad about it.
So like, well, one of us is gonna have to be like, all right, back to what we're actually here for. But yeah. Anyway, we start to see that Ross is in every timeline. Once he's in the grass, once he's touched the rock, he is what is the
Fucking
word?
crazy.
Yeah, there we go. He's a douchebag.
He's a major douchebag.
He's kind of. I mean, not kind of. He is
I
homicidal.
said hot.
Oh
I
yeah,
say hot.
he's hot as fuck, dude.
Patrick Wilson's got that thing.
Yeah, he's he's packing, man. Oh, you meant like good looks.
Yeah. I mean, whichever's fine.
He's got that meat. He's like Arby's. He's got the meat.
You know, I was just thinking, what's the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy? What's his name?
Vin Diesel.
No, not not Vin Diesel, not Bradley Cooper either. What's his fucking name? The main guy.
Chris Pratt.
Yeah, Chris Pratt's like a watered down version of Patrick Wilson. I feel like people have said that before, but
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there were times where people liked Chris Pratt because he was like funny in Parks and Rec, and they were like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna be good in movies." And then he did Guardians of the Galaxy, and people were high on him. And then I guess he hates gay people.
yeah, he started sharing some like not so great ideals. And
Yeah.
people are like, you know what? Maybe he's not that good.
Yeah, and then they made him Mario, and like nobody gives a shit. There's like, and I don't know if you've seen the trailers for that, but they're bad. Oh god, he doesn't change his voice at all, so it just looks like Mario, but with Chris Pratt's voice. And I was kind
Mamma
of,
mia!
I was hoping it was a Sonic the Hedgehog situation where they released a trailer with Gangsta's Paradise. That should have been everybody's first clue that this was a fucking joke. Like, they released a teaser trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog, and then they were like, I don't like this because his eyes are not connected together like in the video games, and his voice is wrong, and he has teeth. Like, I'm pretty sure they were trolling the shit out of us to get more publicity on the actual movie, and
They
then
had to have been.
and then they had the outcry of like change everything. They already had the movie finished, and then
Yeah.
but then they gave this like teaser trailer, and they're just like, oh yeah, we are marketing geniuses actually, and everybody went to go see this movie that they thought they had a part in changing.
I could see it honestly.
Like we were all like, ew, why did they do this to my boy Sonic? Like, is that really your boy? Is that really your boy? Sonic the Hedgehog?
Fucking Sonic. You know, I'm
Nobody's thought about Sega in like 30 years.
not. No one really cares about Sonic the Hedgehog anymore. I mean, like, there are diehard fans.
Yeah,
Don't
I
get me
mean,
wrong,
and it kind of got a little bit of a resurgence because of the movies. I mean, people are gonna buy the collectors like, oh, the whatever anniversary of Sonic the Hedgehog collector's edition video games. It's got all of the games from Sega Genesis and all that shit. They're gonna buy that. But like now, there are children who are like obsessed with Sonic because of the movies, and like it's kind of a resurgence for it, and I think that's.
Yeah.
But they played the shit out of us. Like,
Oh, they did. They definitely did. I don't think they needed to make a Sonic movie, to be honest, because were already really into it. But like, they just kind of did it for some reason.
but
Like,
we
and they're gonna make a second one for some reason.
they did already make the second one. It's got Knuckles in it.
They did. Knuckles.
Yeah, Knuckles is in it.
Like Tails.
Knuckle Pook.
Knuckle Pook.
Knuckle Pook.
The only reason why I will probably watch the Mario movie is Jack Black and Charlie Day. Charlie Day is Luigi.
Oh, that's cool.
That's the only reason why I would. I might not, but
I
if it's on TV, I'll watch it. Just like with Sonic the Hedgehog.
yeah. I feel like it's just gonna be Luigi with Charlie Day's voice though. That's gonna be so weird.
I think he does kind of like have an accent. I have to watch the trailer again because it only shows him for a little bit. But I think he does put on an accent. I think the only person who doesn't is Chris Pratt because he probably was just like, people will just buy it because I'm me.
Yeah, I was in Parks and Rec, guys, and I also tamed CGI dinosaurs. Do you remember that? And all of the terrible Jurassic movies I was in. Do you remember when I was in Jurassic World 1, 2, and Dominion?
And Dominion.
It's like
That's another franchise they just need to let rest.
remember Terminator? They like
Oh.
I think Patrick Wilson. No, it wasn't Patrick Wilson. Patrick Wilson wasn't in one of the Terminator movies. I thought he was. Back to Patrick Wilson. So
Where were we?
there was like Patrick Wilson was fucking like he's an asshole in this movie. He ends up trying to convince everybody to I think I'm actually skipping a whole lot of things. No. Ross ends up stumbling upon the boulder. I called it the egg here.
The egg.
So Tobin showed Cal this rock. Ross finds it. He starts like looking at it, and then I don't think he touches it yet, but Cal and Becky are outside, and they're about to like. It jumps around in like different time loops or different time frames. So like once Ross finds the rock, it kind of cuts to. It's almost like an episode of Lost. Is what this feels like to me. It's like, and then you get to Becky and Cal outside of the tall grass again, but it's a different angle, and you hear Tobin yelling, and again filmed at a different angle. And then, I think, is that where Travis? They get into the tall grass, and then Travis finds Becky.
Yeah, and he's like freaked out because he just saw her dead body not too long ago.
Yeah, yeah, and then he's like, "What the hell is going on?" Like internally, probably. I would be, and then. Becky's getting a call from an unknown number. And it's it's her. Like it's very obvious that it's herself screaming at her. And it says, "Don't let Cal get hurt."
Don't let Cal hurt Travis.
No, don't let Cal hurt Travis. Yeah, that's what it is. And yeah, so. Apparently they just like she's like, "Don't let Cal hurt Travis," and then that's kind of like the end of that scene. You're like, what the fuck? But you know it's her telling herself to not let Cal hurt Travis.
We skipped a part.
Wow.
A very weird part when they're walking because they all find each other by all like going to Tobin, who is standing over the dog's dead body, so they all find each other that way. And then while they're walking, that's whenever the grass like goes up Becky and into her baby canal, and it's like wrapping its way around and everything, and then she passes out. And then that's when they like they're trying to find a way out, and Travis puts Tobin on his shoulders and starts like looking around. They spot like this like gas station.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And then they start running in that direction.
Yeah.
Like everybody is with them. I think everybody but Ross. Right. He's like obsessed with
Um,
this, or maybe even Ross too. Like he's obsessed
I
with
think
this rock at this point.
I think he's already touched the rock, and then
Yeah.
yeah, he leads them to the rock.
Okay. Yeah. Patrick Wilson leads the group to the rock. Oh yeah, because Patrick Wilson is the lead. He's leading people. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, we're gonna go to this gas station, but he actually just takes him to the rock. So Dwayne Johnson is in this movie, and he's shaped
And
like an
he's
egg.
awesome.
Yeah, he's shaped like an egg. It's pretty cool.
Better CGI than whenever he was in
The
the
Scorpion King. That looked like shit.
It's terrible. Even for 2000s, that
Yeah.
was bad.
I mean, we had good technology in the early 2000s because fucking Shrek was made. Toy Story. They couldn't make The Rock look like a scorpion? Get the fuck out of here.
I know they fucking stupid. They did not pay attention to the lighting at all. That's what made it look bad was the lighting. It was fucking stupid.
There's a lot that made that look bad. I hope we get I hope we get the Mummy Returns. My God.
Me too.
Well,
Well, then,
if we get returns, that means we have to watch The Mummy, which is perfectly fine. Because we have rules to the randomizer, of course. If we get a movie that is like, say, we get Jurassic Park 3, we have to watch Jurassic Park because that's the first in the series. We get Harry Potter 6, we have to watch Sorcerer's Stone.
that's what happened with the Souvenir. We got the second one, so we had to watch the first one.
Yeah. Now, if we get the Souvenir 2, we get to watch the Souvenir 2. It's actually real.
Hopefully, the Souvenir wasn't the worst movie we've watched, but it was definitely a fucking hassle to get through.
I feel like every time we're like 10 episodes deep, we should do like a ranking list of like, all right, these are the 10 movies we've done so far. And then once we do like 25, we'll rank, or actually once we do like 20 or 30 or something like that, we'll like rank all of them, but we'll have like a tiering system, and then the best movie will be the champion of that 10. And then we'll have like, and then once we have 10 champions, we'll rank the champions by, I think we could do something cool like this, but that's just
I'd be down for that.
idea on the fly. I think we can do like a ranking of movies that we watch. So we're really close to our 10 movie mark now.
We haven't watched 10 movies yet.
No, this is well, maybe. I think this would be 9. In the Tall Grass might be 9. So I think the next one, because
I'm excited to see what it's gonna be.
we just released we just released today, the Souvenir episode, and that was episode 7. And then History of the World, and now In the Tall Grass. So 9. We're on 9. This one won't be released for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this comes out in a couple weeks. We're recording a lot tomorrow before I go to Charlotte, and then we'll try to do a couple more, I think, on the Tuesday or Wednesday after. That way we can be like further ahead.
So we kind of like lost track.
Yeah, and then we can have like a ranking episode where we're like, all right, these are the movies we've discussed, the first 10 movies we've discussed, and we can have like we can start, I think we could talk amongst them ourselves and actually get the rankings in, and then we'll write it down, we'll have it, and then we'll do an episode where we're just talking about the movies and why we ranked them and what position. Yeah, I like this idea. I think we could really do a cool ranking episode every 10 movies we watch. Obviously, we're going to do the episodes on the movies, and then we'll do a ranking episode after the 10th movie, and then after we get 10 after we get 10 episodes deep. So after we're like episode 100, we'll have a champions ranking. And I think at a certain point, maybe we can do like ranking every movie we've watched. Uh, but I no, I don't like that because it's like that's too much.
That's a
Every
lot.
yeah, after every 10 movies, we'll rank those 10. We'll have a champion, and then after 100 episodes, we will do a ranking of the number ones. Yeah, because those are the champions. We'll rank the champions, and
So kind of
then
like a March Madness in a way.
yeah, and then we'll have a grand champion movie for the first 100 episodes, and then we'll do that every 100 episodes, where we'll have a grand champion. And oh my god, once we reach 1,000, we'll have a super grand champion after a
The best
thousand
movie we've
episodes.
ever watched.
Yeah, and then after 100,000,
Oh my god.
it just keeps going. Uh, yeah, no, we're
Oh man, can you even like 1,000? That would be like it's like 52 weeks in the year. So an episode a week. That's 52 episodes a year. That would take like 4 years to do.
yeah. Fuck.
Holy shit! I didn't even think like that. Holy shit!
Uh,
Even 100 episodes doesn't sound like a lot, but it's 2 years.
yeah, I'm glad we came up with this. Well, I'm glad we came up with this because I think this is actually going to be a really good idea.
Yeah, I'm down for it. A little like like a filler episode where you're like you tune in to find out which movie we like the most, and then after like fucking like 10 years of it, you find out what our favorite movie is that we've ever liked, we've ever watched.
Oh man, that's dope. I'm glad we did this before we actually hit 10 episodes because yeah, this is cool. I'm stoked to do those episodes now. I'm stoked to do
Well,
every episode, but
I already
uh,
know what's going to be at the bottom, especially for Sean, is Baby Geniuses. That's going to be immediate bottom. Like, no.
so are we doing our own rankings or we just collectively choose? I think we should just collectively choose what is going to be, and we'll figure out why, and then we'll also make on in the episode we'll figure out or we'll tell everybody why we chose what in each position because it's like all right, so I was heavily voting for Baby Geniuses to be number 10. And you're like, well, I wanted to put it at least at 9, something like that. And it was like, so we
Yeah.
we compromised and we put it at 1. So
Compromise and Baby Geniuses won.
it's the best movie we saw. uh,
Baby, you won.
oh my god, that sucks.
That was a big. I think that was the only movie I've shown you that completely fried your brain. You were just so, like, holy shit about it.
Yeah.
What is this fucking movie?
I don't know. Whenever you first showed me Greasy Strangler,
Oh,
I
yeah.
I couldn't believe it. And then
You know what?
I've watched it a few times now.
Dude, whenever I first showed you, you were like, why? Why are they stuck in the scene? The scene's been going on for like 10 minutes. Why? Just the potato chip one?
Oh god. Porto.
You're just like,
Porto.
you're like, oh my god, just go.
I love the hot dog guy. He's my favorite.
Oh yeah.
I'll make yours extra piquant, yeah?
No, you can't do that. I'll lose my license.
I want a greasy dog. I need to lubricate the world. No, and I repeat, I could lose my license.
That'll be uno,
Dos, tres, bucks. I'll make yours extra piquant, yeah?
The scene, the line that I get stuck in my head all the time, besides anything with Porker in, is Michael wanted to boogie and so did I.
Michael wanted a boogie. Oh, dude, the funniest parts is what was his name? The guy with the afro. I can't remember his name, but big something.
Are you talking about the guy at the car wash?
Yeah. Uh,
Oh.
every time he talks, cracks me up. I actually have some clips from when I was editing a YouTube video that never got made. It was like he's like, "No way," or and then he's like, "No, you did not." That shit kills me. It's just his
No,
delivery. I kind of
I
want to
saw.
just have a soundboard where like we just use his clips. Just like we're like we say something. It's like, "No, you did not."
I definitely do want to buy a soundboard. I feel like it's just it's just a very good comedic tool to have, even if you're just doing laser sounds.
Yeah. Pew 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 pew
Yeah,
pew.
exactly. Fear of Brothing.
It's like watching the news. Pew 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 pew. Oh man, I don't know why they do that.
Either. Like, who's this for?
Them, because
Yeah, yeah.
we're talking about it. We're like, oh man, laser sounds would be really cool. Which is funny because it would be fitting because that's my I guess pseudonym. I don't know. No,
Pseudonym, yeah.
it's my laser Lemon is so it'd be perfect. Um,
Laser Lemon.
Laser lemons. Uh, so whenever I used to stream, people would call me, "Oh, dude, the Lemon Man's here," or whatever the fuck, and I'd be like, "Fuck you."
Lemon Man.
Um,
So, if lasers were your sound, my sound would just be anus tarts.
a toilet flushing.
Just fucking fart noises.
I think it's a really clever screen name, though. Anus tart looks like a new start, but it also looks like anus tart.
I
It's
wish I came up with it.
uh,
It's so good.
yeah, it's fucking hilarious. Yeah. Anyway, back to the movie.
Yeah.
uh,
So
so
grass goes in baby canal, and I
yeah,
think that's where we were.
and then what's his face is leading the pack to the Rock, and then he. Yeah, Patrick
Oh shit!
Wilson is
Yeah.
violent. According, he's like his wife is like, "Don't trust him, don't trust him at all," and he just looks like he's about to kill her. He looks very possessed, like he's already touched the Rock, and he's like he goes on this like spiel. It's like a monologue. He's like, "You know what this is? This is the center of the universe," or he's like, "This is the center." Ooh, I just burped. Woo! You're gonna hear that. Uh, apparently, the Rock is like the center of the United States, and it has special powers. I just smacked my microphone, so if you hear that, I apologize. And then he's like, it has very special powers. And then they're like, why are you talking like this? Why are you doing this? And then he ends up like fighting everyone.
Yeah, just to go fucking nuts.
And then he breaks Travis's arm, and then he kills his wife in front of the grandma. Like he kills the grandma's mom right in front of him.
In such a brutal way. It shocked me because he's got her head in his hands, and he just fucking squishes it like
Yeah,
Neil Patrick Harris in Undercover Brother.
yeah.
Just squishes her head.
Or like in the Greasy Strangler, where he's like he puts his like doesn't he put his fingers in somebody's eyes at one point? Or does he just no? He just chokes them until they pop out.
Yeah, it's the hot dog guy.
Yeah, and then he like catches them or some shit. They like pop out and he catches them.
And then he eats them.
Yeah, he fries
up,
them.
eats 'em.
Yeah, good God, that movie.
I feel like after we do a ranking, we should have an episode where we pick a movie to watch.
Mm.
That way we can like pick movies that we really really love, and those don't go into the rankings because we're obviously biased against them. Or
Yeah,
biased.
yeah,
They're biased. Um,
absolutely, yeah.
we could
So,
do like a movie that we like Greasy Strangler, because the odds of us getting the Greasy Strangler is probably going to be pretty low.
right.
Um, and we can every 10 or even like 20 episodes or
We
15.
could do like bonus episodes where it's like, all right, we actually really want to cover this one.
Yeah,
I like that. I can get on board with that.
we just have to figure out like because the 10 episode mark is the ranking system, so we got to figure out a way to implement the movie that we actually like.
I feel like the also the ranking episodes, so we can do like 10 episodes a season of the show, and
Hmm.
then the rank, or I guess 11 episodes a season, because episode 11 will be uh, the last episode, and then season 2 will start after that. So it'll be like,
Okay.
or maybe yeah. So 11 episodes a season, and then we'll start over from one each season. So it's like season 2, episode 1, but maybe I should just stop putting the episode number in the titles. Hmm.
Say start or stop.
Stop. But I kind of like that. That we don't really have. So, I mean, I'll keep going with like the episode 12, 13, 14, just so we can keep track of how many we've done.
Yeah.
But I also have like a list of movies we have watched and reviewed. So that could also be our numbering system as well. But yeah, or maybe we just don't even need to have seasons. Maybe we're just like, yeah, these are just fucking episodes and ranking episode, and then yeah. But
I mean, either or is fine.
after every 10, there's going to be a ranking episode. So we have developed that on the fly.
This is our this is how we come up with ideas. We just kind of like we put it out in the air, and then if it sticks, it sticks.
Right. And we
We're
like
just throwing
this.
pasta.
Yep, we like this one, and we like Joe's idea as well. Uh, yeah, cool. We're
We'll just
doing.
have to off off the off the air figure out how we're gonna do it.
I feel like the ranking ones are going to be pretty easy.
Oh, the ranking ones are easy. I'm talking about the picking a movie.
Right. Okay. Yeah. The bonus episodes. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll work that out. Bonus
So
episodes.
I was gonna say every five, like 5, 15, but we're past the 5 mark. So
I feel like at a certain point, if people actually start listening to this, and they're like, "I would like to hear you guys review and watch and review this movie," we could do like maybe if we have a Patreon, we do bonus episodes for Patreon for choices that other people choose for us, not just a randomizer, but like give people a reason to sub or to give us money on a Patreon. Be like,
okay.
hey, bonus episodes on Patreon as well, and you get to choose what we watch and review. I think that'd be cool. But I think we're getting a little bit too ahead of or at least I'm getting ahead of myself, because I'm like, nobody's gonna watch this shit. Nobody's gonna listen.
Well, at least a few people do so far.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I'm surprised by the numbers we've gotten on YouTube so far. It stays in the teens, so that's some people. And now if those people told other people, are you
those
listening?
people tell their friends, and they tell their friends.
Yeah, it's called word of mouth, you motherfuckers.
Yeah, start fucking blabbering.
Yeah, spill the beans.
Spill. Don't worry about who has to clean them up. Just spill them.
Yeah, just spill those beans all over the floor. Don't pick them up. Don't pick them up. Let
Dog
some
will get them.
Yeah, let somebody else pick those up. Those are the beans that are gonna. Those are those special kind of beans where we're gonna get more views.
Yeah, they're like Jack the Beanstalk beans, but they don't take us to the heavens. They just get us more views.
All right, back to the movie. In my notes, I put Cal is a little bitch.
Cal is a little fucking bitch. He's just a fucking nervous Nancy the whole time, and always fucking giving Travis attitude because Travis fucked his sister and he couldn't.
Yeah, dude. So we discover that so we discover that this is right after we found out that Ross was like responsible for the murders in other timelines as well. I don't know if it's other timelines though. I think it's like oddly enough, I think it's all connected, but we're just seeing it play out in different at different times. Like it's showing us how, but it is other timelines. This movie's a fucking mind fuck.
It is because like even now trying to think about like the timeline thing, it doesn't really like it feels like different timelines, but it also
Feels
like
interconnected.
yeah they each party that has gone in there has got the other party in there.
Yeah,
It's almost like a chicken, like what came first, the chicken or the egg? Like who came first, Becky or no? It's Travis lured Tobin in. So who came first, Travis or Tobin?
yeah. Well, I mean, fuck, man. No, because then at the end, Travis is like, "Don't," or Trevor,
Travis.
Travis. I put
Travis.
in my notes. It's just like it's a different person's name every time. I'm like, it's Travis or Trevor or like I wrote like 3 different names for him.
Travis with the CH, Travis with the T.
Yeah, I think it's just 2 names. I put Travis and Trevor like different times. Yeah, but so yeah, because like and at the very end, like Trevor's fuck, god damn it, Travis is like, hey, if you hear somebody screaming for help in this grass, he's talking to the grandma. He's like, if you hear anybody, do not come into the tall grass. Do not come in here. Whatever you do, and also, if you see a red car, don't let them come in here either. But there's some shit that happens before that, so we kind of probably shouldn't have spoiled that. But whatever. We jump around, jump,
So does
jump,
this movie, though.
jump around.
Jump around.
Meow, meow. All right, that's enough of that.
Good thing we're not big enough to get copyright.
I don't think
That's
I
copyright strike.
think it's only a copyright strike if you play the song. I don't think you get in trouble if you just like sing it. Like
Okay.
maybe I'm wrong,
I
but
know, like TV shows, like they can only sing a certain length of the song before it becomes like
oh, then we're good.
yeah. No, we only really know like a few words.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah. I know some words. Whatever. I learned English off of Laffy Taffy rappers.
3-6 Mafia? Oh, no, that's that.
Yeah.
It wasn't 3-6 Mafia. It was who did that? D4L.
Yeah, Laffy Taffy. Yeah.
D4L. That's what it was. Cause yeah.
I would have never gotten that. I thought it was Project Pat, honestly.
That's 3-6 Mafia, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's
But
going down.
I don't know who did that. Meet me at the mall. It's going down. I don't know who did that.
I was doing good googly moogly.
Oh god, good googly moogly. That thing is
That thing is
juicy.
juicy.
That's Project Pat. Yeah.
that ain't a monkey hanging off your back.
That's Donkey Kong, dude. God damn it.
That song randomly gets stuck in my head like once a year. Oh no, like twice a year. It'll get stuck in my head. Just that line, and I'll sing it for like a week. It's so good.
Oh my god. Oh, dude, one of my favorite Project Pat lines. He's like, it's just the intro of a song. He's like, yeah, new Project Pat, Project Pat, and he just goes into the song. It's like he's like, this is that new Project Pat shit, but also I have to reiterate that this is in fact Project Pat.
In case you had any discrepancy, this is Project Pat.
And one of the dude, the 3 6 Mafia song, like where he's like sipping on some scissor, and like you have to listen very closely, but he goes sipping on some scissor, and then in the like very very like quietly you hear bitch.
Bitch.
Oh, bitch. Shit's so funny. We're so close to the end of this movie, and
It's just, this is worse than whenever we tried to talk about the guilty. Because when we tried to talk about the guilty, we were off the fucking rails.
this is the best episode yet. Right
I,
here.
I honestly, I think so too.
Everything. I'm gonna have to listen to it back because I'm really excited to. Because like I've been just having a fucking blast. um, but we are we're close to the end of this thing, so I think we should just like wrap it up. um, and then we can pick the movie or randomize the movie, and then we'll know what we're watching. Know what we're watching soon.
Yeah,
So. Yeah, so anyway, we get a scene where Cal, Becky, and Trevor, they get out of the grass. Travis. His name is Travis. They get out of the grass and they get to the church. They're in the church, right?
No, they get to they find after Ross is going crazy, they get away from him and they Tobin, Becky, Travis, and Cal. Got a burp. God. Oh, it's just like stuck in there. They get to the building, the like gas station, and they're like kind of holed up in there. Well, that's no, she doesn't make the call yet. That's whenever Cal and Travis kind of get into it, and Travis is like, "You're just mad because you can't fuck your sister," pretty much. And
Right. Yeah.
then they get on the roof
Yeah.
because Ross is chasing them.
Yeah. And then I wrote in my notes, Cal's a little bitch and he lets Trevor fall off a building because he wants to fuck his sister. I also wrote the grass is bush people. I don't know what that means.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it comes a little bit later, but I know what you're getting at.
Yeah. It was people, right? Like, or did it just look like people?
It was actual people.
Gotcha. The grass is bush people. So I
It,
wasn't.
like after they after Travis falls, Becky's like, "Where's Travis?" And Cal's like, "I don't know." And they get down and well, first Travis and Cal see the dog run into this like grass. He just runs into this grass pile, I guess, in front of the building, and he pops out on the other side of the grass where he's like next to the church and everything. So that's when they figure out that there is like warp holes in the grass. So then they get down. Well, he pushes Travis down, and they get down to go to it. And Cal says something. What does Cal say? Because Cal tries to. Oh, Becky refuses to leave because Travis is nowhere to be found, and Cal's trying to get her to go.
Yeah.
That's when he's attacked by Ross.
Yeah. And I think Becky gets attacked too, because isn't there like a scene where and this is where it happens where like he rips the baby out of Becky, because we do see her decomposing with her like stomach, like her womb is like open.
Yeah.
So he rips the baby out of her and he like feeds the baby to Becky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like he's like saying it's just grass.
Yeah.
And you don't really like see it, but like at some point it's implied.
Yeah.
Let me
So,
Cal's feeding her.
the baby?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was
But
Patrick Wilson.
no, she was hallucinating it was Cal, but it's actually Ross.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And then Patrick Wilson kills the baby and Cal. Well, I mean, he's killing the baby by feeding it to Becky. It's already
Yeah.
dead. And then like Tobin just comes out of nowhere and he's like, this shit just keeps happening like over and over again, and Patrick Wilson is always watching us. Because okay, here's what I think. Here's my theory: is that Patrick Wilson touched the Rock, and so did Tobin, so they know what's going on in every timeline.
Yeah.
But Patrick Wilson is he's become adept at using the Rock to um, kind of just like reset everything and then just do it over and over as much as he wants because he finds joy in tracking these people down and murdering them. So he's kind of just I feel like the Rock is kind of like a reset button for Patrick Wilson, whereas for Tobin it's like a reset button to try to reset it so people can start escaping. So I think it's kind of like a never-ending chess game between Patrick Wilson and Tobin. This is my theory, uh,
Okay.
and then Tobin eventually does get out with the help of Trevis. Um,
He's like we're gonna see Trevor, and then you said Travis. And what Travis?
yeah, Trevis. Travis, that's his name. With the help of Travis, unbeknownst to Travis, but kind of, he gets what he's supposed to be doing, but he's still confused at the end. Tobin and Tobin and Patrick Wilson, so Ross and Tobin are the only ones who really get what's going on because they're the only two who have actually touched with the Rock. Um,
Until
so
Travis does.
Oh yeah, he does. Oh, so he does know. Okay.
Yeah, that's
So
how he gets open out. Cause like after he touches it, it shows. Yeah, like zooms out and shows all of these like interconnected tunnels and everything. That's how he knows how to get him out.
okay. So at that point, then shouldn't Tobin know how to get out?
I think. So this is where it gets like confusing. Is that the timeline thing? Like I don't know. Maybe like in the timeline where Tobin was touching the rock, Travis never made it in. So um, Cal and Becky just got killed, and then he started touching the rock to try to find a way out. And then I don't know. It's so hard to comprehend because then Bush people come in, and then like where like out of nowhere, like when she's like hallucinating and right before she's eating the baby, that she's like the bottom opens up and it's like showing all these people, and then like people Bush people are coming out. It's very very weird.
Bushmen, act like you're in the fucking bush. That's from Walk Hard.
You're in the
And Bushmen, act like you're in the fucking bush. Oh god damn it! I love that movie so much. That's such a quotable movie.
it's anytime I think about Walk Hard, I just think of the horse part where he's about to have sex with that girl. He's like,
Oh my god.
I came up with a nickname for my girlfriend, based on that movie, Dewey Rahim.
He's like, well, Dewey Raheem.
That's why you never take Quaaludes and jet ski at the same time.
Are you sure you're even one of mine? Anyway, we're so close.
We are very close to the end.
So yeah, yeah. So Tobin is like, this happens over and over again, and it's never gonna stop. It's just gonna keep happening to us. So this is like where I think like Tobin is aware of, like, because he's also resetting by touching the rock, but Patrick Wilson is also resetting as well by touching it, and it's just like it's a never-ending game of chess between the grandma and Patrick Wilson. But because
Maybe that's how it didn't reset because Travis kills Ross.
yeah,
And then maybe that's how it didn't reset. Because then Travis touches the rock after he kills Ross. So maybe it was Travis who was in control at that point.
but it does reset because then he tells because he resets it after he tells Tobin to like
Oh
not
yeah.
let because he says do not let Cal and Becky in here,
Yep.
and I think at that point Patrick Wilson and the wife, can't remember her name,
Natalie.
Natalie, they're dead in this other timeline, right?
I believe so.
Or they're in the grass.
They're in the so after Travis touches the rock, he takes Tobin by the way, something Tobin has never done after asking somebody to follow him. He grabs Tobin by the hand so he doesn't lose him, which is something Tobin never did, and he probably should have because I honestly thought they were going to lose him a couple times.
Mm.
But he takes Tobin and it's like going through all these like little portals, and he stops and he's like, "Okay, so I'm going to give you this necklace and you make sure Becky and Cal don't get into this grass." And he pushes him through the grass and um Sean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It made a sound and kind of like I thought you like disconnected. But
No.
so
Just sharing my screen with you for whenever we're done with that, and then we choose
okay.
the bad boy.
At the bad boy. Um he
We're gonna get
pushes
bad boys now. God
through
damn it.
Bad Boys 3. Um so he pushes Tobin through this like grass portal, and Tobin ends up in the church, and then he comes out and he sees Cal and Becky about to go in, and he's like trying to keep them from going in, and he like gives her the necklace. And she's like, "How did you get this?" And he's like I just have it, okay?"
Yeah. And
Travis is like watching them from the grass.
yeah. He's
And
like, don't worry about that. And they're like, all right, get in the car, you creepy ass grandma kid. So
how old are you?
yeah, and then they're like, you want to go to San Diego? And he's just like, fuck it, might as well. Uh,
Yeah, my parents are dead.
yeah, it's like we can start a new life.
And
Me
then
and me and my grandson in your belly.
yeah, it just he just forgets everything and just becomes their grandma. And starts dressing in fucking babushkas and everything.
So
Um,
yeah, he tells once he tells so yeah, Tobin gets in the car, they drive off, and Tobin ends up stopping them, gets in the car, they're driving back to Kansas. They're going back to Kansas. They're not actually going to San Diego. I remember that too. They're not going to San Diego anymore. They're just like, let's go back to Kansas. You want to go to Kansas, little grandma? And then
here,
he's just like, fuck yeah, why not? And then we get a shot of Travis passing out in the grass. I'm pretty sure he dies, but I'm not sure. We don't know.
I don't know. Like, see, the thing is, like, is Travis alive in the real world outside of the grass?
Yeah, I don't like. So that's weird because like maybe they're gonna go back to Kansas and Travis is just gonna be there.
Maybe. And then, like, what about? So they're gonna. I'm pretty sure they're gonna drop Tobin off some so that he can try to find a ride back home, or like go up for adoption. Like I don't.
Yeah, he's
It's
gonna be
very
out of the system.
unclear.
Um, like, it, can you imagine in a timeline where like, all right, Becky's pregnant from a man who doesn't exist anymore in the timeline that they're in, but she got knocked up like clearly like 9 months ago, but they had to. It's weird. Like, so she's pregnant, and he's gonna go try to find them like 2 months after they disappeared. But she's pregnant with. It doesn't make any goddamn sense.
No. it's a very like once the time loop started happening, the second time I got very confused. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Now all it's really left is just to make heads or tails of it and try to piece it all together. And it's just like, I don't think this is a movie that is one of those movies where you're like, no, I get it.
Yeah,
I don't
no.
think you're. I don't think you're supposed to get it.
I'm gonna find somebody on YouTube who has explained the ending, and then I'm gonna let them tell me.
I do that shit too. I'm like, what the fuck? But I also like trying to decipher it myself, and then I'll watch those videos, which is like, and then I'll be like, oh, I was way the fuck off.
I know. I'm gonna try to at least, but who knows how well that's gonna go.
But yeah, that's my thoughts of it. I think that Patrick Wilson and Tobin are like dueling each other. It's time to duel.
They pull out this fucking
The dual
Yu-Gi-Oh
discs.
bracelet. Yeah,
They're like, they're like,
but it's all just grass cards.
yeah, I'll pay half of my life points to get the fuck out of here.
Just damn it.
It's like, and he still has life points left. Take that, Patrick Wilson. It's like, oh yeah? Well, I play Pot of Greed to draw 2 cards from my deck. He's like, okay.
Whatever, I'm outside now. I don't give a shit.
He's like, I play Spellbinding Circle. Now you can't get out of the grass, and you lose 700 attack points.
I pay half my life and my mustache to get you back into the grass.
Oh.
Fuck.
Oh my god. Anyway, that is the end of In the Tall Grass. And what a ride. I mean, honestly, it was a ride. It was a fucking roller coaster.
Man, yeah, it was.
But
it was something else for sure.
I honestly I'd give it like 6.57. I'd say a 7. I think it's a pretty serviceable horror movie. It doesn't get it. I mean, it gets in its own way all the time, but it's it's one of those movies that are like fun to watch, and it doesn't rely heavily on like tropes. It relies on horror conventions, but not so much horror tropes.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I enjoyed it, and I give it a 7.
Would probably give about a 5. Like it wasn't the best movie I've ever seen, but it was also not bad at all.
Yeah.
I'm giving it a 5 because it's very convoluted.
Yeah. Okay.
Convoluted doesn't make it good, but
Yep, fair
it's
enough.
also, like you said, doesn't rely on tropes like most horror movies do. And I like the supernatural aspect of it too.
So you're feeling like middle of the pack, very average.
Yeah.
I feel like I give it a 7 because I was thoroughly entertained by it, and I know that doesn't always make something good. I'm entertained by dog shit, like literally dog shit. No,
Just on the sidewalk. I'm like, whoa.
Exactly. No, I love really bad movies where I can like, but I mean I don't consider this bad, but like I was thoroughly entertained. I thought there was a lot of really cool, interesting like shots and the way they told the story with different angles. So they were like, all right, this is gonna be a scene that you already saw, but it's going to be a different angle and it's going to have a different outcome. I thought that was really cool. I
did like it, yeah.
I thought it was very well lit. I feel like it really conveyed the tone of the movie really well. The lighting and then I don't know, sometimes I felt like the lighting was like whenever they do in movies where it's like, oh, it's supposed to be nighttime, but you can obviously tell it's daytime. Like, they kind of did that a couple times, where it's just like, you can tell it's just a blue fucking light.
Yeah, filter.
Yeah, so it's like, that happened a couple times, so that knocks off some points for me. But, like, I don't know, maybe it's not a 7. maybe I'm
See,
thinking more like a 6 or a 5.5. 5.5,
see,
6.
what I liked about the lighting was so I'm the cinematography and the lighting. I'm not like the biggest fan of.
Yeah,
Not very creative in either. I think they're just trying to get the job done with both, which is not a bad thing.
yeah,
Um, what I did like um, was that most horror movies, not most, some horror movies, I guess most nowadays, whenever it's a nighttime scene, it's like pitch black. You can't see anything.
yeah,
And I'm I'm with Sean on this one where you can. I didn't like that you could obviously tell it was daytime during the night scenes, but I did like that it was actually lit and you could see what was happening.
yeah. I don't know. In horror movies, I feel like it's good for like you can't have a movie like Lights Out and be like,
Mm.
oh, I wish this movie was lit more. Um, because that's like the whole premise of it is that the antagonist of the movie is she had like light therapy that like killed her basically, and that's why she's like a spirit with unfinished business or a demonic presence, and she just like she gets stopped by light because it hurts her.
See, that makes sense. That's understandable. If I was watching that and it's pitch black, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. But something like I'm trying to think of a horror movie.
Lights Out was the directorial debut of the guy who did Shazam, by the way.
Really?
Not Kazam, but Shazam.
Really?
Yep.
Huh. When was Lights Out made?
So it was a short that did really well. It made its rounds on like YouTube, and people shared it on Facebook and stuff. And people were like, "This is really crazy and really good." And honestly, it was. It was a good short. And then they were like, "You want to make that a full length?" He was like, "Fuck yeah, I want to make that a full length."
Who the fuck wouldn't?
Yeah, and then now he's a big shot director, and he's made Shazam, Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods, and he's also made he also got brought on to do Annabelle Creation in the Conjuring universe. I fucking hate the Conjuring universe. Anything after the Conjuring 2, I hate it. Um, like Annabelle, all the Annabelle movies suck.
That's
Even
just after the second one is I haven't watched The Conjuring. I'm not big on horror movies. I like horror themes and
yeah,
like more like Lovecraftian horror.
okay.
Uh, but after the second one, I assume it was more of like a cash grab. Just with the Annabelle movies, they're trying to capitalize on it as much as they possibly could.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They were like, "Oh, we've got all this," and Patrick Wilson's like at the forefront. Of course, he fucking is. He's like, because he's like in all of them. He plays one of the Warrens. He's God, I can't.
Yeah,
Yeah, Ed and Lorraine Warren. They were like, "Oh, we're ghosts." They were real people. They were like, "We're ghost hunters, and we're gonna write these books." All of that stuff's bullshit. But they made movies about it, and it's the Conjuring universe. So I like the first two. I think they're really good. But yeah, so I guess I'm gonna give it a 5.5. I'll give it a 6. I think it's pretty average.
yeah, not
And
bad. Definitely worth a watch.
yeah,
Um, but
and yeah, I guess all that's left to do now for this episode is see. Do you see it? The
yep,
thing.
the
Okay.
movie ranking database.
Yes. We are randomizing in 3, a 2, a 1. Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Oh shit!
Oh hell yeah, dude! We got an
This is
oldie.
gonna be sick.
We got an oldie today. Released in 1954. Creature from the Black Lagoon. Fuck yeah! I knew we were
I'm
eventually
stoked for this.
we were eventually gonna get some classic stuff, and dude, yes, we're finally doing it. 79 minutes of black and white bliss is what this is gonna be. It made this is how you know that like it's like so. Not only do you know it's old because of the like box office. I don't know how much stuff we used to make in the box office, honestly, but this is like they only made 1 million in the box office for this creature feature. It's like so we went from one horror movie to another, but this is like going back to the roots. Like, and I'm so fucking excited.
I'm very excited. I've never watched this. I've always wanted to, but I've watched The Blob, and that's the
Ah,
only.
okay. Yeah,
Blob was good.
I've seen the Blob too. I'm trying to think of other classic horror movies that I've seen. I've seen Nosferatu from the 20s.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah. It used to be on Netflix, so I like it's a silent film, so it's got like the little do 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 do, and then it'll have subtitles. And
Notes for a ride too.
Nosferatu.
I
Um,
could. I assume you did the um the fucking smile. Uh,
no,
but
yeah. And he's like, oh, he's like super shy.
oh.
He's like super shy. He's like, fucking love SpongeBob. All right,
Me too.
Creature from the Black Lagoon is gonna be our episode 10.
Hell yeah! What a
And
good episode 10, honestly.
episode 10 will be Creature from the Black Lagoon. All right, guys, this has been the Fear and Brothing podcast. Brothing.
Rothing.
Fear and Brothing podcast for the I'm not gonna say loathing again. I did say that once. Never again. Fear and Brothing podcast. This has been Sean,
This has been Joe.
and we are getting the fuck out of here.
Mm.
And whenever I click stop recording, bye bye.